Talk about the impression that of Drew Barker and his maturity.
I think from day 1 to day 15 when we got here and we just implemented the offense, I think he's done a fantastic job of being a sponge, learning, being that guy. When you're a quarterback, you really have to be a coach. And then, what we put on him this summer. You've got to be that leader, and you've got to be the guy running the offense when we're not out there, and that's what he did. It was something a little bit different for them. He ran it just like a coach, and we're a lot further along. I'm really excited about today to just find out exactly how much coaching we're going to have to do in terms of the installation. They should know everything. It shouldn't be about that today. Today should be about the techniques and the fundamentals that will help us get to the next stage.
Coach, I broadcast Connor's games, and every game, every play, Barker was a tough guy. He worked his ass off every time. So I expect that attitude to come into play this year.
That would be great. I mean, that's, and I mean that in what you're saying right there. That guy has to be. I mean, you got to be that guy. You got to have some toughness. You can't be the guy that's liked all the time. If you're going to be a leader, it's not a popularity contest. And I tell them all the time, if I'm a quarterback and the running back misses a protection, look what Peyton Manning did. Look what Brady does. What do? They undress him on the sideline, and they let him know that it's not what we're going to do. If an offensive lineman doesn't do right, then it's the quarterback's job to make sure that he does. If a receiver is supposed to go 14 yards and he goes 12, well, he better fix it. And that's what we're looking for. So yeah, I love your attitude. Come on.
Kyle. Well, he beat the crap out of us.
As you evaluated this roster, when you were trying to think about taking this job, compared to maybe if that was on the table when Mark first took this job, how different, how much did you notice the roster transform, even though you weren't here then, just looking at it?
Just because we left each other together at Florida State when we left, we were so close that everything that he did here at Kentucky, I was following, and so as I watched, just looking at just where they were then and where they are now, and I'm a part of it now, but just I think they've done a fantastic job. I've said that many times. I think that they've really changed athletically where they're at and where they're going.
Coach Gran, I think you intimated at one time that you were what the holler guy or very excitable guy on the sideline during games. Sounds to me like you expect Barker to be that surrogate more or less for you.
I'm not. I don't need a cheerleader. I just need somebody that when he talks, people listen, and he can do that in practice without being a cheerleader. And my point was just on Sunday through Friday, I'm going to try to stress our offense as much as we can. So we're on Saturday, it's easier. And they're going to see somebody that I'm not going to get too high, too low. And I've got to figure out how to get first downs, how to get him on rhythm when he's not in rhythm. And I've got to spend my time doing that, not being a cheerleader. So that's how I've done it, and it's worked well. But, it might not be Drew in terms of that shape and form. It might be Toth, it might be JoJo, whoever it may be, and that's who we're finding right now in the next 29 days. That's very important. We've gotten those leaders, we've kind of spearheaded them, and now we're going to see what they can do with it.
A couple more.
Eddie, Ryan Timmons seemed less a part of the offense last year than his first 2 years. What role do you envision for him? And did you guys do things in the spring to try to rebuild his confidence?
Moved him around a little bit, and he's got to learn more positions, and that'll give him a chance to learn both inside positions. And you saw in the spring game, made some good catches, tough catches, contested catches, and that's what we've got to be able to do. So, it's his time. At the end of the day, it's about production. This is not a hard game. You know what? You either do it or you don't. The eye in the sky does not lie, and it's time. It's time. It's time for them to go and to be consistent, for us to coach them, for us to get it out of them, and it's just that simple. It's not that hard. We try to make it hard, but it's not. So I'm looking for some great things from him. I really am. It'd be disappointing if not. And I think he feels the same way.
Coach, you've got an all-SEC tight end and C.J. Conrad, don't you? He can play, can he?
I believe he can. Yes, sir. I don't think there's any question about CJ. I don't think there's any question that CJ needs to be used. I think he's a weapon. I think you can get matchups, and I think he's a heck of a football player.
Dan?
That gentleman just asked a question, mentioned Mark Stoops. He's still passionate, and he kind of laughed that off. Said he should have seen me in the meeting last night. What has this lead up been like for you coaches together with just the excitement a little bit, and give us a peek into that meeting maybe?
Well, if you weren't excited and you didn't have goosebumps, and then you don't need to be in this sport. You just didn't need to be in there. Because I was at the edge of my seat. I was ready to go. It's real, it's time. And it's just, you just don't need to talk about it anymore. At the end of the day, we've got to go take care of business. And I'm old school that way. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start the day with fundamentals, discipline, and that's what we talked about. Doing the little things right. Little things make big things happen. We've got the capacity now, and so it's time for them to take care of business.
Passionate speech then by Stoops last night.
Absolutely.
John Hill?
What's your message to Boom going into camp, especially as he's had to deal with some difficult personal things over the last month? Mark said he's really been leaning on you guys and his teammates through all that whole process.
Well, I think the biggest thing is for him to get through this camp healthy, learn it, because he didn't get 15 practices. He got spurts of it, but he didn't get to really be in the bullets. So he's got to make sure that he understands and he can protect our quarterback when need be, and that he can understand the run game and all that. And he's kept up with it, but just be healthy and get through this. He's going to lean on his teammates and this family right now, and that's a tough deal that he went through, and you can't even imagine unless it happens to you. So he's going through a lot, but like we talked about, that you have to move on, and he's done that, and he's been unbelievable, and so hopefully we can help him through that, and we can stay healthy.
John Clay?
Eddie, was there one thing when you came out of spring, when you look back on spring, that you, maybe one aspect you weren't real happy about, that you really want to put some emphasis on in the fall? An area where, hey, we got to get better at this in the fall?
Yeah, I thought at the beginning it was just we were turning the ball over a little bit too much, but then as I went back and we charted the whole thing, it was really the first 3-4 days, and then after that it really became pretty good, and we took care of the ball. But I was concerned about recovering. How are we going to recover when something doesn't go well? And I came out that one scrimmage, and I was very disappointed, and I wanted to see how they responded, and I thought the next 2 practices they really got after and competed. So those things were really good. I would say the biggest thing is just who is going to be those guys on our offense that are going to lead. That's if there was any concern, that I just want to make sure that we have guys that don't want to be popular, and they just want to win, and they want to do the things right to help us get to the next level.
Next one, Alex. You have one? Okay. All right, thank you very much, folks.
Wait.